In this video, I'm going to show you how to go from text to web app like this, where you can convert any photo of yourself into an AI character. We're going to create detailed instructions with AI on how to actually build it. So we can just copy this information, paste it all into Lovable to get it to build it all for us. So we can do this all without any technical knowledge. So you can have an app that turns any image of yourself into a cartoon in seconds. So let's do a quick demonstration of how this works. So firstly, we're going to go ahead and just select an image of ourselves and upload it. This app is complete with a database. So you can see we've already uploaded that image into a database. Then we select any kind of style. So for the moment, we've got Pixar, Simpsons, or Lego. We're going to go with Pixar. Click on Generate Cartoon. And just like that, I have a Pixar animated cartoon of myself in my own web app. So without any further ado, let's get started and build this. Now to build this app, we're going to use Lovable. And most people's starting point would be just to paste in some kind of prompt directly into Lovable and get it going and see if you can actually build it, followed by endless amounts of debugging. I'm going to show you a much quicker way and a much more efficient way to be able to do this. So first of all, we're going to go to CodeSpring.app and we're going to grab a subscription, and then we're going to create a new project, and we are literally just going to do exactly the same thing, but we're going to let CodeSpring figure out the technical stuff and work out exactly how to build it. So we don't even need to write any prompts. Let me show you how this works. So first of all, we're just going to go in and write Cartoonify, because that's going to be the name of our app. So then we're going to go in and we're just going to describe exactly what our project is. So we're going to create an app that will upload one image of us, and it will convert it into a cartoon image such as Pixar, Simpsons, Lego, etc. So I've gone ahead and I've listed out the core features. We're going to be able to upload an image. I want to be able to select from a drop down the style that I want. Then when I click generate, on the right hand side of the original image, we want to have the generated image. Now what we're going to do is actually choose our starter template. And this is a really cool thing within CodeSpring. So we can go ahead and we can actually use the CodeSpring boilerplate, which is going to make things so much easier, so much quicker, but you have to use something like Cursor or Windsurf or something like that to build. And we have got tutorials on how to use this, but it's already got authentication, it's already got payments, it's already got database, it's already got websites, everything already built, and all of the courses inside the CodeSpring subscription are all trained on the CodeSpring boilerplate. So we're not going to use that for now. For now, we're actually going to try Lovable, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to generate our plan with AI. And the AI is going to take this and it's going to essentially look at what it is we're trying to build, and it's going to use a Lovable starter kit. So you'll notice what CodeSpring is doing is not only planning our app, but it's defining a strategy on how to build it. It also is looking at the code and the starter template for Lovable, so it knows how it should build it. Okay, and just like that, you can see here, it has created a detailed plan on how to build all of these different features. So I'm going to walk you through how all of this works. And if we actually click this little button down here, it's going to just collapse everything to make it much easier for us to see what's going on. And essentially what this has done is it's created us a list of features. So we've got the image upload feature, allows users obviously to upload their image. We've got the style selection. We've got the generate cartoon feature. So all of this tech here is specific to Lovable and how Lovable actually builds apps. So it should make it much easier for us to build. And then we've also got OpenAI Edge function. So we're going to create a super base Edge function using GPT Image 1 API. Okay, and I'm going to walk you through how to do that in a second. This is all stuff that means you would have to figure this out on your own, but CodeSpring's done it for us. But if we actually come into each of the features, we can actually just click on this, and you can see it's created us a detailed description of how these features should work. So if we actually just look at this, for example, this is the image upload feature. So this feature lets users upload images from their device to the app for cartoon conversion. It's described the user journey and the technical implementation on how to do this, and all of this is based on the Lovable starter kit. So this one's here generating the cartoon. So transforms the upload image into a selected cartoon style via OpenAI API. User clicks generate, the app calls the OpenAI API image API and displays a loading indicator until the result returns. All of this stuff is stuff that you would have to figure out yourself and write out in detailed prompts yourself, and it's just figured out the tech here and it's using that in the description for each of these features. What we're going to do now is to make this even easier, rather than having to then go into Lovable and describe the app that we're building, is for each of these features, we're just going to come in and we're going to click this little plus button here, and we can generate what's known as a product requirement doc. So we're just going to create one for each of these features. And you can see it's already gone ahead and it's generated the requirement doc for the image upload. And essentially what this is a detailed prompt on how to create that specific feature with user journey, user story, how it works, with also technical implementation, API endpoints and server actions. It's describing exactly how we're going to build this. And again, this is using the tech that's needed for Lovable. So it's going to give Lovable a much better direction on how to build and what we want to build. And you can actually have a look at the context on how it's trained it. So I can see it's trained on this tech stack here. I can see the notes that it's used. So in other words, this requirement doc for this specific feature here has been trained off all of the notes in this section here. So we're just going to collapse all of those, and then one by one we're just going to come into each of them and we're just going to copy and paste into Lovable. First of all, we're just going to go ahead and copy this one. We're going to come into Lovable and we're just going to write build me this app. Okay, and we are just going to paste in the text for each of these, and we're going to go ahead, collapse this one, open this one, copy this one. So now we're going to copy the documentation for building the style selection. I'll paste this one here. So you can see how much time this is saving. We're just going to copy this feature here. We're then going to come to this final feature. Let's just collapse that one. And we're going to copy this feature here. So we've got all of the descriptions for each of these features. And this is what goes into creating a really good app. The first prompt that you send to Lovable should have all of the information on how to build, what it is that you're building, and really break it down into the minutiae, because this is the most important prompt that you're ever going to send, because this lays the path for the rest of your app. So you can see just how much time we've saved by using something like CodeSpring. So if you would like to grab a CodeSpring subscription, the link is down below in the description. We also have a whole load of courses that are actually going to show you how to use various different tools, how to get them all set up, like linking Supabase, creating things like GitHub. Also, there's a full course here showing you how to use CodeSpring to go ahead and build your first note-taker app, creating things like databases, creating really cool and nice UI, making sure it all looks really good, and then actually deploying that note-taker app and all the debugging as well. There's also a template as well, so you can choose whichever starter kit you want. You can either choose to get started on Lovable, or you can follow the CodeSpring course and it will show you how to use tools like Cursor. So if you want to level up your skills, CodeSpring course is going to help you with that. And there's a whole load of other features and stuff which I'll show you as we go through this build. So let's just come back into Cartoonify, and we're going to come actually now into the progress board. So we actually have here a list of all the different features that we would want to build. So we're going to go ahead and put each of these different features into the to-do list, because obviously we're going to go ahead and get started with these. And now we're going to come back into Lovable and we're just going to send through that initial. And just like that, what Lovable is going to do now is figure out exactly how to build this. So you can see Lovable's just taken this and it's decided the first thing that we need to do is actually set up our Supabase integration. We're going to use this to create all of the integrations into OpenAI and also to create the user accounts. Now this is really easy to do within Lovable. We're just going to go ahead and click this little icon up here to connect to our Supabase account. Obviously you need to make sure you have a Supabase account. Just go to supabase.com and create a free account on Supabase. It's really easy to do. We're going to come back into Lovable and just click on connect Supabase, and they make it really easy to integrate. So it's just going to go ahead and accept to authorize this. It's going to connect to Supabase. So we're going to go ahead, click on continue, create a project. I'm going to call it Cartoon, give it a password, and then we're just going to select, for me, West Europe, London, and then create a new project. Cool, so that has now been created. We're going to come back into Lovable. And you can see here that has been created. We're just going to click on connect. And just like that, it has now been created and connected. And we can actually come back into the chat and you can see that it's gone ahead and it's now continued with building our projects. But with CodeSpring it makes it really easy. So although we've given it all the instructions on what to build so far, we're going to go ahead and we're just going to tell it to get started with the image upload section. So we're going to just copy that and we're going to say build this. And we're just going to send through the image upload. And I tell you what, while we're at it, we might as well do the style selection as well, because this is also very, very easy to build. And let's just collapse all of those to keep it clean. Come back into Lovable and we're just going to tell it to build both the image upload and also the style selection. And again, we're just going to go completely hands off and we're going to let it build it all for us. So it's going to start off with creating the storage bucket. And again, all of the information on how it should be doing this and how this should work with our app has already been generated with the CodeSpring starter kit. So we're just going to go ahead and apply the changes for that. What this is basically going to do is create a place for us to store the image. So it looks like it's making some good progress so far. So it successfully implemented the image upload feature. So we've got the storage set up. So what we can do is come into our Supabase project, and if we come into storage, we can see that it's created this cartoons storage bucket. So where it's going to store all of those upload. So if we just come back into here, now we're not going to bother testing this just yet. We're going to come into the generate cartoon, and this is the one that's going to be the trickiest to set up. So we're just going to copy this and we're going to come back into Lovable and we'll say build me the image to cartoon generator, and we're going to paste this in here. Then we're going to come in and we're just going to collapse that, and we're going to grab also the side-by-side preview. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and send that through, and hopefully it's going to speed up the process in creating the back-end functionality for this app. So you can really see how quickly CodeSpring is enabling us to actually build. It's taken away a lot of the guesswork, and with these starter kits, because of the tech that it's figured out and because of how it's writing these prompts, it makes it so easy for us to keep track of, how things are being built and get them implemented correctly. There's a whole load of other courses, but we also have a tool to help you market your product. So once you've built your product, you can go ahead and launch it, and you can create TikTok carousels. So you just select any project that you want. You can go ahead and run some market research, and then you can just generate TikTok carousels for that product that you can just download and post onto any TikTok or Instagram account. If you would like to grab a subscription, at the moment it's £49 per month. You get access to the ability to create all of those project plans, plus all of the courses. You get the templates, you get all the starter kits for Lovable, Bolt, Replit, CodeSpring. There's a whole host of other features as well, but it's going to dramatically speed up the process of you actually building your app, and it's going to save us a huge amount of credits. Because for each one of these prompts here, we would have to write these out ourselves, at least on average 10 to 20 prompts just to create a single feature, whereas we've got it done in one single prompt, which means we're not burning through tokens on Lovable. So if you want to grab a subscription, the link is down below. But we're going to go back to Lovable now, and it's asked us for our OpenAI key. So we're going to go ahead and click on Add API Key, and in here, we're going to paste our OpenAI API key. Now, if you don't know how to get that, you're going to go to platform.openai. Then all you're going to do is create an account, and you're going to come to here, and I think it's Manage Projects, and you're going to go into the API Keys section here, and we're going to go ahead and create a secret key. So you can see here we've got the new key. This is what it would kind of look like. We're going to come back into Lovable, and we're just going to paste it in here and click on Submit. So if we just come back into CodeSpring, we're currently working on feature number 3, which is the generate the cartoons. So hopefully that should be done pretty easily. The other thing which is really cool when you use CodeSpring is if you actually click this button up here, the way that these documentations are created is you can see inside each of them we actually have these components, and these components here are essentially the different files that we need in order for our app to work. Now it won't have these yet because it's not finished building, but you can come into the app and you can actually look at the image upload section, and you can see it's actually creating the image preview and the image upload, which I think if we come back to this one here and we scroll down, we have the image upload and the image for that first feature. So we are essentially using the starter kit, and it's telling Lovable what we want to build, how we want it to be built, the tech on how to build it, and also it's describing exactly which files to create. And this is really, really crucial when you're building an app to make sure that things aren't going to break. Everything's been organized correctly. Cool. It's now said it's going to implement the cartoon feature. Perfect. I've successfully implemented and created a cartoon generation feature in your app. Here's what I've built. Here's the complete user flow. So at the moment we can upload an image. So let's just go ahead and click on upload image. I'm going to upload this image of me here, choose cartoon style, click on generate, so upload and cartoonify. Okay, so then it's got this style selection, so we'll probably want to work on the UI a little bit here. So we're going to go for Lego and then generate cartoon. And the only problem is with the GPT image one is the image generation does take quite a while to do. And what I usually do with every single build is I work on getting the back-end functionality set up and created, and then I can just go back and fix the UI a little bit nicer. And there we are, just like that, we have the app working. So we've gone ahead, we've uploaded an image, we've generated the cartoon based on that logo style. So if we come back to here and we go for Pixar, for example, we could probably do generate new cartoon. So I want to just go ahead and screenshot this UI here. So we're just going to go ahead and upload an image of the screenshot. So all I've done is I've just described what I want the UI to look like. So I want to be able to upload an image, and then underneath it I want to have the ability to select the cartoon style from the drop down. So basically I want this thing to be underneath the image, click on upload, and then it will sort of slide out and we'll have the cartoon comparison next to it. So I'm just going to go ahead and send that, and hopefully it's just going to clean up this entire UI for us. But basically just like that, we have now created everything that we need inside this app. So we've got the ability to have the side-by-side preview, the generate cartoon, style selection, image upload. And here's a really cool thing that you can do is we can actually come into CodeSpring now, and let's say we wanted to add a new feature. So we wanted to add, for example, a library, right? Area to view past generations. We could actually just drag this down here, okay, and we can actually start to add some detailed information on how we want this feature to work. So we could describe, for example, the user journey and the UI and how we want the library to work. But for now, I think we're not going to bother with that. You can see here Cartoonify has been dramatically improved. We can click on Start Over and we can just upload an image again. Going to double click on me, click on Upload and Continue. Now we're going to go ahead and select Pixar and we're going to generate a cartoon. It says generating your cartoon. And while it's doing that, let's just come back into the storage and let's see if the storage bucket's working. So you can see the images here are working with the upload and the upload here. Cool, and just like that, it has generated a cartoon style from me. Now, obviously at this point, the app is basically ready to go. I mean, we've built something very, very simple here, but I wanted to show you the workflow that you would go through in getting an app set up in Lovable, but making sure you're using this requirement doc strategy. As you can see, we've managed to do this in only a couple of prompts, and we didn't have to write any of this information. But the most important part about this is we know that the code has been written properly. We know we're not going to have exposed security problems. We know it's going to be a lot more scalable, and we're not going to run into so many problems. So that's how you would use something like CodeSpring to rapidly improve and speed up your development. I would recommend, if you want to go ahead and grab a subscription for CodeSpring, click the link down below in the description. You can go ahead and you can plan out as many projects as you want. You can select multiple different starter templates. So if you want to use Lovable or Bolt or Replit, you can do so, and it will design these documents for that specific platform. Or I would recommend you go ahead and use CodeSpring, because if you actually come into the course section here, all of these courses in here are going to show you how to set up Cursor and how to actually use Cursor. This is the tool Cursor, and this is basically a much better process for building. So if you're building apps with AI, you want to be moving towards the direction of using a tool like Cursor, because it's a lot more powerful. You can get much better results, and also you have access to the CodeSpring boilerplate, which has already got the databases already been built and integrated. It's got security already integrated. It's got a website in there. It's got payments in there. It's got user accounts and user authentication. All of that stuff at the moment, if we wanted that in this app here, we would have to go ahead and build it ourselves. We'd have to build a website. We'd have to build the login pages. We'd have to make sure it all works. And the problem with that is it's just going to take a huge amount of time. If we use the CodeSpring boilerplate, it's already set up and ready to go for us. There's a full course showing you how to build a note-taker app. So we're actually going to show you how to build this app here. And you can actually see we've got the navigation panel down on the left. We've got the area where you can go ahead and create your notes. This is just like a Kanban board for building notes. The course inside CodeSpring is going to show you how to get all of this set up. And also there's a website as well. You can see you've got the ability to go ahead and create accounts. All of this stuff has already been coded for you inside the CodeSpring boilerplate. So you're going to be able to build a note-taking app exactly like this if you follow along inside this course here. So go ahead and click the link down below in the description. You can grab a CodeSpring subscription for £49 per month or £249 per year. If you have any other ideas of apps you want to see built, let me know down below in the comments.